rushing yards came was from him. And then, the explosive plays in the passing game. Third and long, giving up a touchdown pass. Backed up, giving up a long touchdown pass. There's probably 175 to 220 yards we just talked about. So, there was just like any game, there's things you were happy with in that game, and there's things within the game that you got to get cleaned up and get better at. But we're just happy to get a win and give Fresno State a lot of credit. Thought they had a really good game plan, and Coach Tippet's teams are always very well coached.
It looked like the guys had a decent range, but they didn't maybe exactly break down or make the final.
Yeah, we felt like that when we looked at the tape and diagnosed the quarterback once he got his launch point before he moved and where we were at with our rush, that maybe we could have gotten at least five more sacks. We didn't. They did a good job extending the plays, and we wish we would have made them. And we just got to do a better job of locating the quarterback in the pocket, take the blinders off as we do rush, and anticipate this potential possibility of stepping up. And that's the hardest thing, I think, for defensive linemen, whether you're rushing the interior or on the perimeter, on the outside, is keeping the quarterback in your sights as you do rush. Take the blinders off, press the pocket, see him step up, and then come off blocks and try to get a sack instead of focusing on just beating your one-on-one matchup.
What's the philosophy with the defensive line rotation? The in series, steps in the next.
Yeah, we have a plan in place. It's going to be different every single game. I like the way that it worked out this past game. They kept us fresh, particularly with the number of snaps we ended up playing in the second half. So you saw waves of guys go out there, like I mentioned before the game, and I was happy with the way those guys came in and spelled people, and I think we'll continue.
What's the communication aspect of affecting that? There's line changes executed.
You talking with the rush? Or
just guys coming in and out?
Oh, we go through it. I mean, we work on it a lot. It's something that since the day the season ended last year, we had to do better. And believe me, we talked a lot about it as a staff. We've worked a lot on the field and in meetings with the substitution. And it's just part of our daily checklist as a staff and with the players.
Did Drake prove anything to you, just looking back at his performance on
Yeah, I'm glad as a USC Trojan he proved that for sure.
Real quick, I know I'm a little late to the party, just having to do all this at the same time. Just tell me any special challenges about this week's game that you guys are facing.
Right. Well, it's a very much a pro-style type offense, which is different than we played, all spring and all fall camp and in the first game. So there's a lot of elements that will be new from an eye control standpoint. Stanford uses a lot of different personnel groupings. One fullback, two tight ends. One fullback, one tight end, three wide receivers, three tight ends. It's a lot of different things. So the biggest challenge we have is not only the personnel matchups and the formations, but just getting a feel for how they execute their plays.
To have the guys you do rushing off the edge, and then you're going up in a game against, Stanford obviously is without their left tackle. He's starting a true freshman there. Do you expect that they're going to try to mitigate that with adding extra blockers or do something to mitigate that?
They have a very well-rounded scheme in terms of what they like to do in the run and pass protection. So when you look at their offense, there's always, not always, but a lot of times there's a tight end on that left side with that tackle in the running game that stays in and helps in the running game with blocks and then helps in pass protection as well. So they don't always leave whoever the left tackle is out. And so I'm sure they'll have a plan together and expecting a good challenge for us Saturday night.
In terms of Drake's performance?
He's as advertised. I was able to see it in high school and see it in practice in spring and see it in fall camp. And it was really neat to see him get out there and play as a true freshman and start in the Coliseum. I know it's very important to him, and special to him, and obviously special to us. But he's a guy that is very talented. He's got very good football instincts for a guy his age, and is really going to continue to make strides within this defense.
Seems like it took him like a quarter. He said he just sort of had to prove him to himself that.
Yeah, the young guys. I say this field's 100 yards long, just like the one in practice, and don't get in awe of all the surroundings. But I thought all the young guys handled everything well that way.
When it comes to tackling angles, do you feel like the team has enough opportunity to go full speed in practice this week?
This week, you
To
said?
tackle just full speed, yeah.
Yeah, we try to do a tackling circuit. We don't try, we do a tackling circuit weekly, and we try to create those space type tackles on our own. And then, out here in a 7-on-7 situation or a thud type period where it's not completely live, we still want to get in a position where we can make the tackle and wrap up on the ball carrier.
When it comes to tackling the quarterback, that's not something you can do here. Do you see that kind of transfer in Saturday's game where they don't have a lot of experience getting to the quarterback there?
We gave up 56 yards of scramble yards for the quarterback, and that was disappointing. And I was concerned about that going into the game because you're rushing against a live quarterback for the first time, and he's a guy that can move around. We knew he had the mobility, but our guys adjusted as the game went on, and I think it'll get better as the season moves forward.
I know turnovers were emphasis this offseason. How nice was it to see that kind of manifest itself on Sunday?
Yeah, it was great. And the biggest thing, and turnovers all start with effort. And I thought we had a lot of good effort plays. We had a lot of 9 guys in the framework of the film when it stops, and that was exciting for me. And then once we got there to be able to gang tackle and strip the ball out was something that we worked on a lot, and we've preached a lot. So when it comes to fruition like that, it's a really great thing to see for the players.